What's up YouTube? Jason here, Morph, Mixology, Reptiles. These are not snakes, very obviously. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we upload videos once a week, every Wednesday, and you can get all of the information on how we built these racks, what they're for, snake racks which are behind you currently, and everything else that has to do with the DIY snake breeding hobby. This week's video is all about running your rack collection. Alright, so what we got here, obviously are 3 racks. I did build these from scratch. I have a video building one of these, I think the last one. And so I've got plans for them, build video on how it's done, the entire water system including the bucket and how that all works, all on the channel. I'll link all the videos for these down in the description. If you don't have anything currently, start there, get yourself a rack going, figure out how many you need for your collection. Let's start there. I get questions all the time. I want to start breeding my own feeder rats. I have X amount of snakes. How many rats do I need? How many setups do I need? These, you can't tell at the bottom, but these are 6 tubs each. And they're like, how many rats do we need to breed? What's the male to female ratio? All that stuff. So I have right now 45, I think, total snakes in the collection, varying from 200 gram hatchling ball pythons to 3,000 gram breeder females, to boas, you know, stuff like that. So I've got everywhere in between, and I've got 45 in total. So obviously I need 45 rats a week on average. Now, not every snake is going to eat every week. That's unrealistic, and especially during the breeding and that, some go off food. So you say 45 obviously is the most that you'll need every week. So that sets us at about 150 roughly rats a month. Well, generally speaking, the females, when they're in full breeder mode, they can produce litters of 10 to 20, maybe 30 at a time at the most, but usually 10 to 20 per litter. And the gestation cycle is about 26 days, give or take. So obviously, if you're going to start breeding and you get the first mom pregnant, it's about a month before she drops, and then she's not going to get pregnant necessarily right away because obviously she has to nurse the ones she has while trying to produce and build the new ones. So the way this is set up is these 2 racks are breeders. There's 6 tubs in each, 4 females in each tub, and rotating males. The last rack, the top 3 tubs are overflow grow out feeder racks. So when the pups get to the size that they're weaned and they're eating on their own out of the tops, they'll get moved over there. To either be fed at that size or to grow up to feed the larger animals. The bottom 3 tubs are retired breeder moms. There's anywhere from 3 to 4 usually in each one of those, and they're just nursing moms, maternity moms. So the reason I use a nursing tub is if I have tubs, you'll see these labels on them. These labels are dates that I've found new litters in here. So if I have multiple, like this one says October 26th and November 2nd. Those are fairly close dates, so the pups inside are relatively the same size. And if I go now another week or 2, let's say, and another one of the moms drops, because remember there's 4 in here, there's only 2 litters. Now I've got pups that are they're fuzzies or crawlers at that stage, or a little bit bigger, and I've got brand new litter. That brand new litter, in my experience, does not get as much of attention and as much nutrient that from the moms as they can. And obviously it's not just that litter's mom that will feed them, they all communally share. But they don't have the ability to fight for the food and the attention of the moms as the bigger ones. Obviously the competition starts to take in. So if I get to the point where a tub has got a lot of larger pups, fuzzies, weaned, stuff like that, and they drop a new litter, I'll take the new litter out and put it with the maternity moms. Because as long as the maternity moms are still nursing, they'll still produce milk. They're just not being bred. Like I have a couple of moms down there that have a neurological issue that's known in rats where their heads are kind of turned sideways and they walk a little funny. Very similar to like wobble in spider. The difference is that trait is generally carried through their litters. So I've retired them, I don't breed them anymore. Now they're just used for nursing. As for how many rats you think you need, there was a point where 4 moms per tub, 4 females per tub. So that's a total of 48 females in these 2 racks, plus 1 male in each tub, was yielding between 400 and 500 pups a month on average. And that was way more than I needed. 4 females, you figure an average of 10. I figured 10 on the low side so you're not over guessing. Figure an average of 10 pups per litter. So that would be 40 pups per cycle per tub. And figure a month minimum for each mom to lay. So at the absolute best case scenario, if you're just pumping them out, which is very hard on the moms if you don't give them a break, which is why I rotate males, the absolute best case scenario would be about 40 pups per month per tub. That's the absolute best case in my experience. Like I said, 12 tubs here. When I had 4 moms in each with a male in constantly, would get to about 400 to 500 a month, but that was pushing it, and the moms, like I said, never got a break. So if you have 10 snakes and you want to start breeding for yourself, I would recommend build 1 full rack, and then maybe do a combination of what I have here. Do the top 3 tubs as breeders with only 1 male, so 4 moms in each, and then start your male up here, leave him for 2 weeks. When you clean, move him to here, 2 weeks later, move him to here, and then back up. And then the bottom 3 tubs, use maybe one or two tubs as grow outs for your feeders if you have a varying size, or if all of your snakes are, say, over 1,000 grams, they all have to grow up. And then use the other bottom 1 or 2, whichever you have left, as maternities. Maybe if you have a friend nearby that breeds rats, or a pet shop that's been breeding rats, and they have adult females that they're going to retire, see if you can get them, 2 or 3 of them, put them in a maternity tub. That way, if you get an imbalance of delivery dates, you can put some of the new ones down there. So 1 full rack with 3 to 4 breeding tubs with 4 females each and a rotating male, or 2 rotating males, whatever you like. I'd say that would sustain probably upwards of 20 or so ball pythons of varying sizes. That's just a rough estimate. Like I said, plan at best case 40 pups per month per tub, roughly. The food we feed here is all Missouri 6F rodent breeder. I get it at the local tack and feed store here in town. I know you can get it fairly cheap. We get it for about 30 bucks per 50 pound bag, excuse me. And that seems to be pretty comparable market value. I really like it. The Missouri brand foods, from my understanding, are the best in pet trade foods, or livestock foods rather. And they do really well on it. It does get a little dusty. I don't know if you can tell the sides of the racks. As they eat it, it does get kind of dusty, but that's part of the game. So now just a real quick way that we set our tubs up is we use equine, their horse stall, pine pellets. I put a thin layer of pine pellets under the bottom of the tubs. That's mostly to absorb odor and give the tub a bit of a base for the moms to dig in. And then I put a nice thick layer, usually about 2 inches or so, of shaved softwood bedding on top. Absolutely no cedar whatsoever. I use softwoods, usually like pine or other soft whitewoods generally. A lot of people ask me, what does it cost to run a setup like this? Actually very little. I'd say, not including the addition to the water bill, which I can't really calculate so much because the water bill is constantly varying. Obviously these are 5-gallon buckets. I refill them, all 3 of them, at least once a week, generally on cleaning day. But sometimes when you start to get 20 or 30 pups in here and they get bigger to where they can get to the water, then you gotta change them more frequently, obviously. But for us, every other Tuesday, I go out, so twice a month, I go out and I buy 3 blocks of the bedding. I buy about 5 or 6 bags of the pine pellets for the base. And I buy 2 bags of the 50-pound rodent breeder 6F Missouri food. That adds up to about $100 to $120. So somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 to $250 a month is what it costs to run 3 full racks here of what I've got. And like I said, I have the capability of producing upwards of 400 rats a month. If you have any questions about rodent breeder and how to build one of these, how to operate one, what you should be looking for your breeding, whatever the case may be, do not hesitate to ask. You can send questions on Instagram, Facebook, or at morphmixology@gmail.com on all of them. If you do build some of these and you get your collections up and running, tag us in it at morphmixology and on Instagram or Facebook. Send them to us. I'd love to see what you guys are building. I think that's awesome. If you have any ideas on what you'd like to see in future videos, let us know. We're always looking for input. I've got some more build videos coming up for some more racks. Obviously, we've talked about the female breeder snake rack I want to do, the bench that's going to hold all of our hatchling tubs. I might even have a new incubator idea coming up, so stay tuned for all of that stuff. Any suggestions or comments down below. If you have any fan mail that you want to send us anything, stickers, mail, suggestions. I don't really care, I'm not asking for anything, but if you do and you want to send it, the P.O. box is the very first thing below the like button. Don't forget to hit that, by the way. And I hope you guys are having a great day. We will see you next week. Bye.